Okay, guys, if you're a man and you find out that you cannot father a child or you have issues getting your wife pregnant, would you allow another man to sleep with your wife so she could get pregnant, or would you opt for adoption? And more interestingly, if this man that you trusted to give your wife a baby cannot actually have children, what would you do at that point? Hi guys, welcome back to Explorewithsu, where we share real life stories and lessons. I came across this video and it's really shocking, and I wanted to share it with you guys and know what your opinions are. Okay guys, so
My name is David Walker. I'm here today with my wife Letitia. We've been married for 7 years. We live in Los Angeles, California. We actually met. I'm a photographer. We met on a photo shoot. She's a model. As soon as I saw her, it was in Hawaii actually when we met. As soon as I saw her in that black sand beach, I knew she was the one. I looked at her through the lens of my camera. I looked directly into her eye and I said, she's going to be my wife. And here we are today. Now we're here because we've truly had an odyssey of obstacles in our family planning journey. We decided to ask Terrence here, a man who I once considered my brother, a good friend of us both, to help us along that journey. But he was deceitful and he lied to us.
Well, before we get to that part, you all have been married, and it's my understanding, based on the complaint, you all had tried to adopt a baby. Now, why was it necessary for you all why did you decide that you should adopt a child?
Well, Your Honor, I'm sorry, baby.
Go ahead.
I have a family history of prostate cancer. My grandfather unfortunately passed away due to cancer. My father, he also had prostate cancer. He's in remission now, but he was able to have children before, the diagnosis. Me, unluckily, I caught it a bit earlier in life. And
sorry to hear that.
I appreciate that. It was very hard for our family.
I mean, it is unfortunate for any man, but particularly it has had a devastating impact among black men. And I hope that you have been successfully treated.
I have. We tried a few things. We tried, to go the herbal route, but to ensure that I was in complete remission, I had to go through chemotherapy. And we knew that there was a chance, a percentage that, I may be sterile and not be able to have children, but just to ensure that we could be together and that I would be here, we chose the chemo and unfortunately the radiation, it led us to this.
All right, and so I understand, though, that Terrence and his wife were very supportive during this time. You all were neighbors, is that my understanding?
Yes, that's correct.
And so you went through all of this with them? You went through the...
Yes, I was there with them throughout the whole journey. Yes.
Right, so through the chemo, through the therapy?
Right, yes.
And so how would you describe the relationship with them?
They have a great relationship. They're a great couple. I was just very supportive through all the health issues and any situations they came across. I gave my opinions and advice, and if they ever needed help with anything, I was just there to support me and my wife.
But yet he's here, the Walkers are here suing you today.
Yes.
What happened? I mean, this is a neighbor. You said that, at one time you described him as your brother, but yet you're suing him today. Why are you suing him?
Well, going throughout the IVF, process, it was very hard to find a black donor. Just with, the generational checks that you need through the background. Honestly, we found out that only 1 in 1,000 people actually make it through the screening process, and for black people,
I didn't realize that.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I knew that it was a very stringent process to be screened as a donor.
Yes, ma'am.
To become a donor, but I didn't realize only 1 in 1,000.
Yes.
And so you already have a small pool because black people make a smaller percentage of the population.
Absolutely.
And then you're talking about men, and they're talking about the men who can qualify. So there is a smaller pool of donors. Is that what you're basically telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
In terms of sperm donors. So you all talk about this, you do research, and what did you all decide?
It was devastating for us. At this point, we've been going through this for years, trying to have a child, and we've been talking about it for even longer. It's been super important for us. And we just got to a point where we got desperate, to be quite honest. And that's really hard for me to admit, but we've always both really wanted a family. So our next option was natural insemination.
Okay, natural insemination. Wow, wow, wow. Guys, I can't believe my ears. So is it going to say that he actually allowed his friend, his neighbor, to have an affair with a wife so she could get pregnant? Oh my goodness, this is wild. Guys, what do you think? I don't think that's good. I don't think that's okay. But I mean, bringing a third party into your marriage, allowing another man to sleep with your wife so she could get pregnant. What happens to other means apart from that? Okay guys, let's continue watching this video.
So when they came to you and said, would you be a sperm donor, what did you and your wife say?
Me and my wife were in an open relationship. We discussed about it and we talked about it. As long as like we're open, safe, and communicate with each other, we can be in like other, relationships and also see other people.
So you have an open marriage?
Yes.
Here's the question. I have a question for you guys. Now, this neighbor and the wife were in an open relationship, right? Why do people get married if they still want to be in an open relationship? I know people can have multiple wives as they want, like some men can have multiple wives, but why don't you just say, I want to have other people around me? Why would you then get married to one person, dedicate your life to one person, yet you want an open relationship with other people, you want to be sleeping with other people? It's not necessarily sleeping with others, but it will eventually lead to that, right? Am I overthinking it? Let's continue watching this video and see where it gets. My biggest concern here is, why would you choose somebody who is in an open marriage to be the father of your child, the child that you're desperately looking for? Why would you want somebody like that to sleep with your wife, to get her pregnant, to give you a child? Like, I don't understand. But anyway, guys, what do you think? What's your take on this?
Right.
Yes.
And so you all are involved sexually with other people? Is that basically what happens?
Yes, but we're safe. We use protection, and also we communicate and tell each other about it. Yeah.
Okay. And so your wife is supportive of you being a sperm donor for the walk?
If I was the Walkers, I would never choose a neighbor who is in an open marriage. Do you know why? Because anything can happen. Although he's saying that they are safe, how sure are you? How do you know that? You cannot get other donors. It's difficult to get donors. Fine, I understand. But how sure are you that this person is actually protecting himself? Okay, let me say themselves, because the woman is also involved. They could be drunk and have an affair with somebody who's got sexual transmitted disease, which they have no idea of. How sure are they of themselves as well? You get what I'm coming from? Anything can happen. They could come back, years later that they want the child, or he could come back years later that he won the child. If the child grew up, he could actually tell the child that, look, I'm your father, or anything can happen. Like, I personally wouldn't go to my neighbor who is in an open marriage to get my wife pregnant. I could go to hospital to get a random person. I know they tried, to get someone and it was difficult, but that's because they had a specific criteria. If they were more open of who they wanted, I'm sure they could have gotten it, because a lot of people are doing IVF. Am I making sense?
She, as well as far as me, we're good friends with them, and so she also wanted to help out as well. And so she saw that by me helping out and doing this would be a good way for them to have a kid and proceed. Yes.
All right. And you have a son. You and your wife have a son.
Yes.
And how old?
It's a 2-year-old son. His name is Brandon.
Brandon. All right. All right, so now you go to Terrence and you say, look, we need you to be the sperm donor because we want to have a baby.
Yes.
And so tell me more about that conversation.
We decided to, use artificial insemination. We would take, the natural specimen and then use something like a turkey baster.
We tried multiple times, but then I told my husband, let's try to do it in a more natural way, take it to another level. And so that's what we did.
And so when you say take it to another level, explain to me exactly what that meant.
So me, my husband, and Terrence, we sat down and we met and we made a verbal agreement that we will meet at Terrence's home 3 times out of the week, and for me to conceive a child.
All right. So basically you and Terrence had an arrangement. Well, you all had an arrangement such that you and Terrence would have sex 3 times a week.
Yes.
For you to get pregnant.
Yes.
All right. And what was the understanding about this arrangement?
The understanding was, Terrence and his wife, they were going through a bit of a, financial situation at the moment. It was just going to be kind of an exchange. I would help out a little bit with their rent. And, we would...
Isn't this like a whole level of desperation to get a child? I mean, there are children in orphanage, there are lots of people who are having, no judgment by the way, but there are lots of people who are having children and they don't want these children. It's not all about giving birth to a child and that's it. It's all about it's about having being able to look after them psychologically, emotionally, financially, most importantly, not just giving birth to children. But there are a lot of people out there who give birth to children one way or the other. Maybe they didn't want, or maybe they have been through a situationship, and there are a lot of children in orphanages that you can adopt and give, that joy and love to. If you cannot give birth biologically, I think the best option is to adopt a child. This process that they've gone through is just too much. It's just too much, because I personally, I don't think it's right. Sometimes you just gotta trust God. Anything can happen. Miracles happen. You just have to trust God with your life, with your purpose, with your everything that you're looking for. Just trust God with it. Being too desperate and going through this mean to have a child, I think is just too much. But I suppose it's what they wanted. It's their life. However, guys, what do you think about this whole situation? What do you think about this? Do you, as a man, think that even if you cannot have a child because you have a condition or you are infertile, do you think you will still be able to let your wife sleep with another man just so that you could have a child?
Did go along with the plan for your wife and for Terrence to have sex 3 times a week?
Ultimately.
Okay. And so what did you agree to do in terms of helping Terrence and his wife financially?
We paid them $1,000 a month.
Okay. And so this is a 6-month agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
By 6 months, she's not pregnant. And so then, is that when you got tested? At the end of the 6 months? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
And at that time, what did the test reveal?
It revealed that I was sterile and that I've always been sterile.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God, guys. Things are happening, man. Even as you are in an open marriage, your wife is still getting pregnant elsewhere without you. Like, you guys have agreed to communicate with each other, to tell each other everything, who you sleep with, where you go to, and who you hook up with. Yet your wife is still pregnant and it's not your baby. Guys, it's shocking. I am shocked. I don't know what to say.
And that had me speechless, up in the air. I was very confused.
Especially because you have a son.
It made me question everything. So I talked to my wife about it, and that's when she told me that there is a huge possibility that my son was not mine, and she has been lying.
Huge possibility. I mean, it clearly the child is not yours.
Yeah.
This being sterile just didn't happen. You're saying that you've always been sterile.
Right.
And so did you go back and talk to David and Letitia?
I did, and I let them know the results. They were both very angry and frustrated about everything. David thought that I was lying and using them, which I wasn't.
I still do. He's been very smug throughout the process. He and his wife are swingers. I think he enjoyed the process of sleeping with my wife for 3 months, and I don't think that he told us the truth.
If he was a scam artist and knew that he was sterile, he would not have had the same kind of bond with this child if he had known that this child wasn't his.
Well, guys, I'm done with that video, and it is extremely sad at the end. I don't know what to say. I don't think they should have done that, and I personally think that they should have had this guy tested right from the beginning before even going on with the plan and getting a lawyer involved if they were actually doing it the right way. But guys, do you think that if you were in this situation, you would actually get someone to sleep with your wife and to get her pregnant? And most importantly, not even testing the person? At the end of the day, Letitia and Walker are left without the child, and they are back to square one. Instead of just adopting a child, I keep stressing this because what they did could bring a whole lot of issue. Now they've lost their friend and they don't have the child, and they are going to be living in the community shamefully. That is if they are ashamed of what they've done. And they could have had this guy tested right from the beginning before even commencing whatever they wanted to commence. So guys, what do you think about this? My own opinion, I don't think is the right way to go about the whole situation, guys. So this brings us to the end of the video, and I hope you like it. Comment down below the comment section and let us know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. So bye.
Hesitate for a moment. If I thought that he had done this purposely, if I thought he had concealed the fact that he was sterile, there is no way I would let him out of this courtroom without holding him accountable. Because really, there's no amount of money that could fix that situation. There just wouldn't be any way that he could make this right. And so it concerns me, and I know that this is painful, but under these circumstances, I cannot award this money back. I just can't. For all the reasons that I've described. You know, you've lost a brother. You don't have a child. I hope that you will continue to be healthy, particularly given your family history. I am glad that you've taken responsibility for your health and your treatment. And I hope that others who are listening will do the same. But I hope that you understand under these circumstances that I am denying your claim of $6,000. And I wish all of you well. If there's nothing further, we'll stand adjourned.